Whose Turn Is It Anyway? A podcast all about our gaming group and, of course, the board games we've played, and we've played a few over the last few days. My name's Adrian, and I'm joined by other players, including Kerley.
Hi, everyone.
JP.
I'm knackered.
And Davey.
Hello. Not hello, it's just I'm knackered,
hello.
JP. There we go, thank you.
In this expansion episode, we're going to talk about the amazing weekend we've just had at GRIDCON. I am absolutely knackered, but have that warm post-convention glow. How's everyone else doing?
Yeah, I slept well last night. Just had numbers appearing in my head and moving pieces around, thinking, I could do this, I could do this. But no, it was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Lots of games played.
Yeah. Kerley?
Yeah, absolutely loved it. Had a great time. I was kind of glad it ended a little bit earlier than I was expecting. I don't know about you guys, but it was like an excuse to okay, now I need to decompress. Because I think if it had gone on till 11 o'clock, I'd have probably stayed till 11 and I would have probably regretted it, to be fair. But it was great.
Yeah, it kind of went, I need to wrap this up now so I can see my family I've not seen for 2 days. And but yeah, it was amazing, wasn't it?
It was really good.
Yeah, it was.
And
played more games than we did at UK GE. Yeah.
probably more than we played within a week.
Yeah.
Maybe 2.
Yeah,
maybe 3. Yeah, back-to-back gaming, which it's quite a rare thing to have the opportunity to kind of do, isn't it? And just kind of sit and go, right, play this game. Oh my god, yeah, it was great. Next.
Yeah.
Next.
And lots of new games as
Yeah,
well.
I was going to say, that's what
Lots
was really
and lots of new
nice. It
games.
was lots of games that I'd been wanting to play and try out, and were able to get to the table.
Yeah,
so.
some of the Essen releases that have come out this year.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to try, and even stuff that's not even out yet. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
So for those who don't know, GRIDCON is a 3-day event hosted by Paul Grogan from Gaming Rules. They upgraded to Taunton from Tiverton.
Yeah.
Got a bigger hotel. Were able to fit more people in. Across the weekend, there were several gaming rooms, a library of games, including a hot games library, which you say were games that had come from Essen. Paul ran demos pretty much solidly all weekend. I don't think he actually stopped to play anything for himself. He just demoed games all weekend.
He was handcuffed to that table. He was never allowed to leave.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I'm not sure he slept, to be honest. I think he was literally, I've got to demo all these games for everyone. Bless him. But no,
There was a particularly good raffle.
I heard it was all right.
Yeah.
It was all right.
I mean, effing amazing.
Yeah.
That was a ridiculous raffle.
I have to say.
The biggest winner was the charity, but yeah.
Yeah, it got to the point where I was mentioning the raffle to the members of the gaming group, and Adrian was like, "Be quiet! You're like slimming down my chances of winning here." So,
Genuinely.
yeah, he was like, "No, shut up!" Like, but no, it was amazing, wasn't it? Like the lots they had. Some of the games, I think, Frosthaven was the Frosthaven Pledge was one of the lots.
Where you had Hoplomachus Remastered, you had several copies of Cloudspire.
Yeah, just loads of games that have been donated by like Mind Clash, Chip Theory, and Eagle Griffin Games.
I was really impressed. There were lots of games that, like you said, were almost pre-release.
Yeah,
really. I know they're out. Like Frosthaven's out in the US. I think they've started shipping, but certainly nothing over here yet. So it's very impressive.
Yeah,
solid.
It was a good haul.
Really good haul. And then we'll get to that later.
Spoilers.
Not going to brag. Right, and also a Bring 'em By, which was fairly heaped with games, like a little small room, but almost wall to wall.
Yeah, it's like the broom cupboard, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was strange walking down because you're walking into the actual rooms where all the rooms were. I was like, is it just in a room? Is there going to be like a bed there, just some games on it or something? And it was just like, oh no, it's the cupboard.
I kind of walked in, and then there's like 4 people in there, and I just felt like. I'm kind of in everyone's way, and I don't know. It's just a bit too much. It's like an assault of post-it notes and games.
Yeah,
and I don't know what to do. I need to leave. So I left. So I deposited a few of my games, and I ran away.
There's a few bargains to be had if you went and rummaged every sort of few hours to see what had been bought in new. So I managed to get a couple of those. So should we start by talking about Friday?
Let's do it.
Day number 1. So I was lucky in the fact that I turned up. I was able to turn up at like 9 in the morning or whatever it was on Friday, first doors in, and managed to get a game of the Great Wall in. So we talked about the Great Wall before. Wasn't sure about it. Wanted to get it to the table. Played with 3 people I'd never met before, and they were great sports and great players. And listened to my kind of mangled teach, and we managed to get it all sort of through and done, and we managed to get it into a fairly decent time slot. We would have overrun a little bit. They had some games, so we kind of just rushed the last turn a little bit to kind of get through. But they enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it more than I did my first game, but not enough to hold on to it, so it did go into the bring and buy, and I managed to sell it, which was good. But yeah, I'll definitely a better second play, and I would be up for playing it again, which I didn't think I would have been after the first play.
Yeah, it made me laugh because of the WhatsApp message you put in and went, yeah, played Great Wall in the bring and buy. That's all we got, wasn't it?
So what did you enjoy more this time round?
I think it was because I wanted to try. So the last time I tried doing a mix of everything, and this time I wanted to see if it was such a defend that wall kind of game. Mm-hmm. And so I tried to do very little of that, just enough so I didn't get too much shame, and just build up the walls and see if I could then just run for the end of game stuff. And you couldn't quite. You still had to do a little bit of everything, but I think just understanding it a little bit more and just, I don't know.
It wasn't so
not linear.
It wasn't so linear as such. Because that's one of the things you didn't enjoy about it, is you thought there was like kind of only one strategy at the end of the day.
You felt like you couldn't broaden your strategy to actually do well. You felt you had to just go down one avenue.
I still think you have to hit certain points. There's going to be no, I couldn't just build walls and win.
Yeah.
You know, I had to still do a bit of the stuff. So there was still a little bit of that sort of handcuff to what they want you to do. But for the most part, I don't know why, I just enjoyed it a little bit more. But yeah, not enough for it to stay in my collection. So
fair enough.
I think almost all games improve a little bit after the first game. The first game's like, even for people who like learning new games, I think you kind of learn the complexities in that first one, and then you understand it a little bit more to do your proper strategies straight from the off, maybe. Yeah. I don't know, that's definitely the way I feel, but I know what you guys
I agree. I think it's also good when you play against and another time you play with people that understand the game as well, because usually that means there's a little bit more competition there, a little bit more I don't know,
competition.
No, variation in kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
I will say it did help that probably, I think the last time we played was quite late in the evening where I had a bit of a naff day. Yeah. And I got to play fresh-faced on Friday morning.
You're excited.
All excited for gaming and all that kind of stuff.
At the conventions, the atmosphere.
Your mood makes such a big difference, though,
it can
doesn't it?
help with that.
If you think, like you say, you've had a shit day, and then you think, oh, I've got to set this thing up, or I've got to teach this new game, or whatever, and sometimes you think, I just wish it wasn't tonight.
Yeah.
But you do it out of the fact that it's been booked in, and you do it, and I think it's an interesting one, probably a good topic in its own right, isn't it? Just how moods affect your enjoyment of games.
But not only your moods, but the people you're playing with as well. Is huge.
Yeah. Especially when you're me.
Well, especially when you're you. I wasn't going to say that.
But it's true though, isn't it? It's true. Yeah. Someone comes up grumpy, I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah.
You're going to bring me down, man.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You bummed me out. Anyway.
We'll talk about Sunday later. And then, Kerley, you got a few games in on Friday as well.
Yeah, got a couple in. A little bit different to you, I suppose, in the fact that I had a rubbish day at work, but then I was still quite keen to sort of get cracking, you know. So turned up, and I want to say we played Astra and Lords of Waterdeep, basically.
Yeah.
Can't remember the order because I'm getting old. What can I tell you?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, does it?
No, but
no one's gonna hold you to which one. Which one did you play first? No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
I'm going to now. Which one did you play first?
I know it's a little bit Marmite. A lot of people don't like it, but it's one of my favourites. Probably always will be. So love playing that. That was a nice kind of break me in. And Astra, it was quite interesting on that one because none of us had played it, and there's not often games that I actually play where no one's played it, no one's watched a video, no one really knows what's going on. So you're kind of totally cold.
Oh, interesting. Are you alright? Because you hate doing that.
Well,
and Becky hates doing that.
I think because it was me who was doing a lot of the reading from the rule book, I think that helped.
Okay.
So because it was me sort of taking the lead on it a little bit, it did help. Me and Becky. Becky had kind of read the rule book before because she's got it coming soon on. Is it GameFound or Kickstarter? That one?
No, she's pre-ordered it. I think directly off a retailer.
Oh, I'll take your word for it, my friend. She has a lot of games these days. I get a bit lost.
I do know because I recommended it.
Yeah, there we go. You're responsible.
No, Adrian is. We'll get to that later.
We'll get to that. Yeah. Sorry.
So that was it was great to sort of go through that, reading through that with Becky, and actually it's the first time. Is it Mind Clash Play's first game? Because I was really impressed. I don't know. Have you guys had a chance to have a look at it yet?
No, we meant to have a go on the last day, but we just ran out of time.
Yeah,
I kind of caught the last because I think it was your last game because I was sort of done with mine and just waiting for to go home basically because Marcus was at the table and he was staying at mine. So I kind of watched over your shoulder for the last half a turn. Didn't really know what was going on, but certainly looked interesting.
Yeah, it's got a lot of depth for what is a relatively light game. I mean, they've got exact bullseye for what I think they were aiming for, which is kind of like a medium to light, but with elements of Mind Clash to it. So.
Yeah, I sat next to you guys while you were playing through a game and asked the old question, and I think I understand how to play it now.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, the fact that I could do that about a Mind Clash game says it all, really.
So what is it?
So essentially, it's a game about constellations. That is essentially what it is. You are looking up at the sky through telescopes and kind of finding the different constellations. Well, the crux of the game is that you're sort of looking at the different stars and you're discovering that part of the constellation, and you all do it as a group, but it's the person who finishes that constellation with the last star on that part of the constellation gets to keep the card. And the crux of it is that when you get the card, you get a little power. It's not usually too powerful, but you get a power. You've got each constellation has got a different element. For example, Pisces, you can guess what element that is water, right? And that adds up to kind of, you get the different elements to make different combinations for VPs at the end of the game. So it's all kind of, you see that one come up that happens to be an Earth one that's got the exact right power that you want. It's quite easy to complete, and it's like, it's
it's taking very small amounts from area control, puzzle, and like a deck builder, and very light with the little powers where you exhaust your card to do the powers. Looked interesting.
It is really interesting, but essentially that's what it is. And the resources are kind of like a telescope, or the actual stardust where you actually have to spend to actually get a star, and all this.
Which is
kind
one
of
of
stuff.
Mind Clash's favourite. Those little
those
acrylic.
Tricarion shards.
Yeah, Tricarion shards, or
these were ever so slightly
cerebria.
smaller, I'll have you know, than
Really?
Tricarion
Are they?
shards. Yeah, absolutely about this big.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
The game is lighter. So,
Yeah.
So it has to be smaller. Everything's just like 50% smaller than it normally is. Yeah.
But no, it was really good fun. I'd recommend it. It's not a deep game. You could probably get, now that I know the rules, probably hour and a half, I guess, for a play.
Nice.
So it's just a nice kind of middleweight to light.
More
game.
importantly,
It looks good fun.
Did Becky enjoy it?
Becky loved it.
Well, that's
So
the main
I mean,
thing.
we all did. Everyone at the table was like, "Oh, I'm not sure about this" at the start, when we were like constellations and stars, and it all sounded a little bit too cutesy. But by the end of the game, we all got into it. That there's definitely a depth to the puzzle. On that game, and it made us all go back on the next day and rent it out again. Well, not rent it out, but book it out again, and we played again on Saturday morning. So it was that good that we wanted to have a go now that we really knew what was going on.
So, Marcus talked about it a fair bit after we left the con, so he was obviously quite impressed with it as well, which is good to see.
Sure we'll get a game soon.
Yeah.
I played a few more games that day. So I played Space Base, which is fairly new to my collection. I talked about it. Or I will have talked about it because the episode will have come out by then. So it's basically roll 2 dice. You either activate those ships separately. So if I rolled a 3 and a 4, I can activate my 3 ship and 4 ship separately, or I can activate my 7 ship. And as you upgrade ships, the ships that you upgrade from, you can then use on other people's turns. So if they roll a 3 and a 4 and you've just upgraded your 3 and 4 ship, then you can use the 3 and 4 on their turn. And you kind of go up through. And it was a simple enough game. Everyone seemed to enjoy it. It's kind of a bit of a light, sort of maybe hour and a bit game. Really enjoyed it. Got that to the table again, which is good. Then played It's a Wonderful Kingdom. So everyone, I think, probably knows my love for It's a Wonderful World. The first play of It's a Wonderful Kingdom was a bit rough when I played it. We played with the Saga module. So with It's a Wonderful World, you just play the same game each time. With It's a Wonderful Kingdom, it's a 2-player version. And you play the same basic game as It's a Wonderful World, almost with slight variations, except for it's an I split you choose. So where you put things in different piles, and you can place some of them face down with trap cards, and as you place them down, the other person has to choose, and then they put some down and you choose, and you're kind of trying to get them to take the cards that are rubbish for them and all that kind of stuff. And we played with I think it was the Nemesis module, because you have to attack on a module onto every single game, and there's different types of modules, and it went really well. I was much more impressed with it the second time round. I don't know whether it's just the modules better or just getting to play with
make
someone.
A big difference, wouldn't it? Every individual module. How many are there?
So this is the awkward bit. So in the Kickstarter, I think there's 4 modules.
But these are the ones that are only available in Kickstarter, are they?
So 3 of them are available through retail.
Okay.
But the area control with the big board that looks impressive was only available from Kickstarter, from what I can see. So, and it also looks like the most interesting module. So I'm kind of intrigued to see if they kind of bring that out as an expansion or something like that in the future. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. Great to get it to the table, and I hadn't played it in ages, and I'd only played it once before. So got that to the table again.
Is that the game that made Marcus start roaring? Was it Marcus you were playing that?
Yeah, he was.
You're the other side of the room, and I'd never met Marcus, and I could just hear him roaring in the background. I was like, oh, he's having a good time.
just the chance to, there's a trap card down, which means it's face down. It could be something bad. It could be something that they want, but they want you to think it's bad so that they can take it on their turn.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can do things like, they've put a trap card down, so now I'll put a trap card down. So now is my bad in there as well as your bad? And are you going to take it for that reason? Or you can really start and play a bit of sort of mind games just with your choice, not even with your face. A lot of games when you're trying to lie about things, quite often
you have to do it physically.
You have to physically lie to someone.
Yeah.
This one, you can just put a card down, stare at them blankly, and watch their mind melt as they decide what the decision is that you've just made. And we had a couple of real good, he had a couple of turns of doing really well at that, and I had a couple of turns of doing really well at that. And so it kind of made a really interesting game. So, yeah, that's why he roared, is because I'd made him pick up his own nemesis as well as mine. And he was trying to work out if I was playing mind games with him, and he's like, no, I'll take it all. And then he turned the cards upside down at the end and realised he'd fallen for my trap, basically.
Nice.
So, yeah, played that. And then I played Marvel United as well. I had about an hour between games and just thought, I'm going to stick a looking for player up. And I set it all up, sat there, a couple of people wandered over, played a couple of rounds of Marvel United. So that was really good, really enjoyed that.
What's Marvel United?
So Marvel United is a Call Me or Not game where it's chibi miniatures, and it's a very simple deck builder game. Essentially, what you're doing is I put a card down, you either move, you take like a rescue action or a punch action. But not only do I get the card I put down, but I get the one card that was in front of it, in what's called the timeline, but in the row, essentially.
Yeah.
So if you need to move, but you haven't got any move cards, you might say to me, can you play something with a move on so that I can move? So it's very loose it's a very simple cooperative game, because it is just as simple as I need to move, or we might need to punch, or whatever. So can you play something that's got a move on it? And you kind of do a few bits and pieces till you unlock the bad guy. And as you do them, the game gets slightly harder. And once you've unlocked the bad guy, you then kind of just have to try and wail on the bad guy as best as possible.
Okay.
And yeah, really, I do like it. I've played it quite a few times. I've never played it just sort of cold with strangers before as such, but they seem to enjoy it.
It's the main thing.
Yeah, as I say, it's really simple. Taught it to kids and stuff like that before in groups, and yeah.
Just a quick aside, because obviously me and Davey weren't there on Friday.
No, we weren't.
So I was at work. I couldn't go.
Yeah, no, just saying, come on.
I won't talk about it because it just upset me again. But when me and you talked to Mr. Grogan when we did the episode, obviously that was one of the things I wanted to kind of get feedback from you, attending kind of your first convention and how you found it with, like you said, I went there on my own at the start and I pulled some people together and got players. How did you find it? How did you kind of experience it? Because I know that's something you raised. It was like your first convention.
Yeah. So I probably made a mistake, but it turned out good. But in hindsight, looking back at it, I probably shouldn't have booked my first game on the Friday with a load of people I didn't know. Because from a social anxiety point of view, not great to kind of... You start off, you've not warmed up to gaming or anything like that, and you just book a game with random people.
It makes you quite nervous beforehand.
So I was kind of...
It's a good job you picked a light one then.
Oh, great walk, something easy to teach, right?
So a game you love as well.
As I was setting it up, I was slowly getting more and more anxious about it, and then I'm hopefully gonna get them right. So it's Rachel, Paul, and Mac, I believe.
Okay.
And they sat down, started immediately just chatting away and having a laugh and all that kind of stuff, and it just sort of calmed me down a little bit. And then as I said, had a couple of other games with people from the group, and then I just sat there and I thought, I've got an hour. I'm really in the mood for gaming. Let's do this looking for players thing.
Yeah.
And just thought, I'm going to do it, put it out on the table, set it all up while I put it out on the table. A couple of people walked over and went, no, that doesn't look for me. And I thought, yeah, no worries. Then a couple of people went, yeah, I've got time for a game. One of them said, doesn't look for me, but actually, why not? I'll give it a go. So they sat down. Yeah, it was easier than I expected. After sort of midway through Saturday, I was like, okay, I just might need to settle down with people I know and play. But it was a lot less stressful and a lot less sort of fearsome than I thought it was. It was good to have the fact that I had like Marcus and
people you knew,
Becky and Kerley and that there, because I did have a way to sort of fall back on if I needed to. But yeah, halfway through Friday, I was feeling quite comfortable in the situation, in the sort of event.
I guess what makes it easier is all these people are here for the same reason. Everyone's into the same hobby. And everyone's in a good mood to be at a convention. So it's a nice feeling atmosphere and a nice buzz around as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so everyone was lovely. I literally jumped into the middle of people's games, kind of thing, tapped them on the shoulder, and went, "Sorry, is this a good game?" Like, so they were playing something I wanted to try. I wanted to get the feedback, and they were lovely. They were like, "Yeah, no worries. Yeah, we're loving this. It does this, that, and the other." And I was like, "Oh, sorry for disturbing you," and moved on. And I did that 2 or 3 times, and people were lovely about it. I spoke to people at the bar when waiting for food, and just everyone was lovely. But from my point of view, there's events before where I've not felt that, even though I know that everyone else is there and have for the same reason. I've just not felt as confident or as up for playing games with random people I don't know, sort of thing. So I felt comfortable in it.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I thought I'd ask the question because it's kind of a nice tie back to what you was talking about. Just reminded me.
We've talked about it a couple of times before, haven't we? And it's something that I can struggle with. But in this occasion, let's say, maybe in hindsight a bit of a mistake to set it up, but it worked out for the best. On the first game on a Friday, to be with people I'd never met before. But as I say, it worked out. They were lovely, and from that point onwards, kind of got into the groove.
This is kind of, it's not for convention wise. There was no competitive gaming. There was no tournaments. It was all, everyone was just there for the love of it.
Oh yeah, casual, definitely.
Yeah, it was a real casual, and that was nice.
Good.
And then finally, because we haven't got through Friday yet, I played.
Not on a time restriction.
Yeah, but I played Starship Captains. So another one of the big Essen releases.
That one from Czech Games Edition.
It is, yeah.
Is that the same people that did Deal with the Devil as well? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It was good, not great. Is the thing I would say about it.
Oh, really? Because that's going to be the big hitter, isn't it?
Kind of. It's got a lot. So I think the game is going to be in a bit of a catch-22 because it's got this lovely production and it looks heavier than it is, and it's quite rules heavy compared to how light the decision making is.
So it's not going to appeal to one side or the other?
Potentially. And my first thought afterwards was I would love a tiny epic version of this, or a small box version of this, but I don't think it would have got the press it got with a smaller production.
Yeah.
So it's kind of in a damned if you do, damned if you don't for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable. I just got handed a rule book and you look like you've taught a few games before. Teachers from the rule book, so I did the thing that I don't particularly enjoy, which is just reading from a rule book to teaching it. And then there's a paragraph I got stuck and had to re-explain 4 times because I just wasn't getting it, wasn't going in. But it is a light game. I think if you're the kind of group that's going to play light games over and over again, I think that's the group that is there. It's beautiful production. You've got these lovely little sort of Star Trek-esque minis.
But it's not Star Trek.
It's not Star Trek.
No, but it is. No, it's not.
I mean, the ship's a disc with some jets on the side of it.
But it's not Star Trek.
And everyone's either red, blue, or yellow. Right. So, but absolutely not Star Trek. There's an android.
They all have pointy ears. And things.
There's an android and there's captains and stuff like that, and there's pirates.
There's red shirts and yellow shirts. Yeah, but it's not Star
Character
Trek.
called Pock.
So
Pim.
Yeah. So yeah, it's about as de-trademarked as I think they can make it, sort of thing. But it is basically Star Trek, like a light Star Trek game. I enjoyed it. I think it's in a weird place with too many rules.
Yeah, fair enough.
For a light game, and I think the production kind of sells it for more than it is. And I would love a tiny epic version or a small box version of it with maybe there's a couple of rules that I'm no rules designer, but I'd have just kind of gone, maybe you could get rid of those and then there'd be less of a teach to it. So
it's interesting. That's been happening a lot lately. I do think games have been overproduced more so lately, more for the publicity than anything else. It feels like
it's trying to do something new. I think is one of the biggest things because they want to be the new best thing. And obviously, there's so many games now trying to do something that's original or feels original. That means they're having to mash together a lot more different mechanics.
How do you stand out?
Yeah, well, this is it. It used to be you had the biggest box on the shelf. That's how you stood out, was you created a big, nice, wide profile on the shelf when it went on sideways sort of thing. And that seemed to be the way that a lot of companies, they'd put 2 decks of cards in a box that was like 7 inches deep.
It's interesting. I do believe it, to a certain point, it's been too big a subject for now, but it's just like it for me. It's making a lot of board games too niche for a lot of people. It's like you're looking at £100 being the minimum really for a medium.
I think this is on
game,
for 60 quid. I think if I don't
that's
quote me on that,
not
but
too bad
which isn't too bad. But considering how light a game it is, I almost feel like I want
a 30 quid.
I feel like I almost want a lower production game, and it's not the light. It's not like float away light. There is decisions in there.
What's the basic concept? What do you have to do?
So essentially, you can do one of 3 things. Or 4 things, I suppose. You can move. You can shoot a pirate, and the pirates sit between the planets that you want to travel on.
Klingon.
Yeah. Or
I just imagine the little pop-up pirate dude in my head. I don't know why.
We're reviewing that next week.
Yeah. You can upgrade your ship and you can repair it, and then the other that's kind of what you do by just spending a mini, sort of like a red, blue, or yellow mini. They all relate to those different ones.
Okay.
And the repair ship opens up more slots for you to upgrade your ship with, which is just like, it'll be like, oh, here's a new room, so you can put your blue person in this room instead of just doing a standard upgrade.
So no
action.
depth to that actual upgrade, kind of.
It's just very light, right? So it's like, oh, when you move, you get an extra point of movement and stuff like that. It's nice, light engine building. And then the other thing you can do is you can go on a mission where you sign a red and a blue person. It allows you to do things and move around on some trackers and different things like that. And then it all kind of comes in together into a point salad. So you get points for upgrading your ship, you get points for killing pirates, you get points for capturing pilots. They don't say killing. Although there is ability for you to like change pirates into extra movement, which I just imagine was them throwing them in the furnace.
Then.
No, they're just it's just like, oh,
you need to go faster. Get that pirate.
Yeah, spend a pirate to go faster. What am I doing? Like chucking him in the coal burner or something? Like it's pretty like
into the plasma core.
It's just a bit like there's some oddities in there, but then all this kind of stuff going around on the trackers and completing missions, and as I say, all of that adds up into a nice little sort of point salad.
Yeah,
and so you score some great points from it. So that was my Friday. I feel like I've been talking forever.
Well, you would do because you were there and Kerley was there.
Yeah, we weren't.
You guys
we were just sat at home going, "Git."
Oh, I want to be playing games.
I can't play. But no, it sounded like you had a good first day.
Yeah, that was good.
Got loads of games and a few new ones.
Yeah,
so that was good.
Good.
Love playing the new games.
Yeah. Saturday.
Day 2.
Day 2.
Day 2. Me and Davey arrives.
We do.
You're going downhill.
And Rob.
And Rob, yes.
Rob turned up.
Yeah.
Atmosphere was so good till then.
Yeah, well, you can't win them all, can you? Yeah. Everyone said it peaked by Friday and it went downhill then. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why. No, we, I had Lacrimosa booked out at the kind of hot games library. So, as Adrian mentioned at the beginning, there was the games library, there's the hot games library, and there's another
spicy library.
Secret library behind the hot games library, which is Paul's special copies of games that he will only kind of lend out to people who he trusted. I'll talk about one of those later. But Lacrimosa was the hot games library, and I'd played before with Adrian on the channel. We had a game, and I just thought that's quite a nice game to start. We already know how to play it. We can just get that to the table and off we go. So yeah, me, Adrian, Marcus, and Paul Richards from who I met actually at GRIDCON 2 last year. Lovely chap. If you're listening, Paul, thanks for playing with us, mate. It was good to be the 4th player, even though I probably swore at you a few times during the game.
Did he win?
No, he had a very early burst lead.
Okay, one of those
where
everyone starts
catching up.
Yeah, it's like, you get what you're doing. So there's a lot of banter going on at the table. I was coming in fresh, and you know what I'm like. Lots of energy.
Yeah.
Bit annoying. Standard.
No comment.
Standard behaviour. But no, Lacrimosa is a mid-weight Euro game, focused all around basically after Mozart's death, and you all play like, I don't know if you play like sponsors or sponsors of like Mozart and his works, and essentially you're appealing to his widow and retelling the memories of what Mozart's done throughout his past career and
finishing off his last piece of work which he had left unfinished.
Yeah, the Requiem. So the board's as beige as you can get, really.
I actually quite like the look of it.
It's genuine. I think
it suits the theme of it.
I think it suits the theme, but it is very beige.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what colour should we go with? Beige.
Yeah.
So it's split into kind of core sections. The top row is like your card row, your market row, where you get what's called memories and opuses that appear at the top that you kind of get buy from. The middle section of the board is literally the map of Europe, and which is where the Mozart figure kind of travels around, and it's like a communal piece that you can move around. And then at the bottom is the Requiem, which is literally looks like a song sheet, all divided into movements, and it has like symbols of like trumpets and violins and other kind of musical instruments are available here that you can kind of put in. And essentially it's like again, I love player boards. Adrian's going to laugh because we literally had this conversation all weekend, but the player boards in this game are beautiful. Yeah. They literally look like fold out notebooks, and you kind of open them up, and then they have it's kind of dual layered. Yep. And also it has slots for the cards to go in, slide in at the top and at the bottom. And essentially on your action, you have a hand of four cards, isn't it? You draw 4 cards and you pick 2 of them. One goes in the top, one goes in the bottom. They're dual use cards. So the top one is the action that you do, and the bottom of the card is the resources you'll get for the next round. So you're kind of thinking, I want to do this now, but I also need these resources. So the next round I want to do these things. So you're kind of doing that and that. And it's kind of got some light deck building elements because of the top market row, you can buy what's called document and memory. And that's like empowered, improved versions of the cards that you have in your hands that you can kind of ditch one out and put another one in, so you can start to do some more cool stuff. And yeah, it's quite a satisfying game. And the little bit at the bottom where I talked about the Requiem and the song sheet, it has an area control element that I've not seen before. So normally at area control, you're trying to dominate with your kind of player colour so that you get the most, but it has a twist on it where your kind of discs that go on the Requiem have a single note or a double note, and that's corresponding to the composers that are helping to complete the final kind of piece. Yeah, the Requiem piece of work, and it kind of scores on area majority based on the notes, not the colour. So if there's more double notes on there, then it's the basically the players that have gone down the double note route gets the highest victory points for each of their colour pieces.
So you kind of work together in some aspects.
Kind of work together in some case, but you kind of then go, well, I really want the power that the double note gives me of that composer. Okay. But I don't want to give them that bloody win.
If I go the single note, this is going to tip it so that now that person that's gone. So like if, for instance, I've gone all in on one area on double notes, everyone else might put a single note down, but there'll be lots of them. And so, but they've really done me over because I'm going to get multiples of the double notes sort of thing. Yeah. So there's a real nice area control bit at the bottom, isn't there? And then the middle's just wandering around Europe.
Because otherwise, from
picking up one-time bonuses.
What you've described so far is, it sounds like every other game at the moment with the whole playing the cards, having a top ability and a bottom ability, like Lost Words of Arnak, Dune Imperium. Revive we played. It seems like the in mechanic of a lot of games at the moment.
Well, so everyone loves to use dual purpose cards.
Yeah, so but the area control is what kind of separates it from these other games, or is it just?
Yeah, I think it's a mix. I think it's just a nice mix for me. Is that the end of game scoring is available to everyone, including the stuff that's on the map. Where if you've done the resources right, you can go and grab extra end of game scoring. And it's just a nice little point salad. It does a really nice job of slowly upgrading your deck if you want to, travelling around and getting these mostly one-time bonuses or end-of-game scoring. And at the bottom is this little area control. And it's just, I think it's a nice mid-weight mix where you can see exactly what options are all the time. There's no sort of real hidden information or anything like that.
The ball and chain strategy.
The travelling is a bit unique in from my perspective, is that because it's a communal piece you're moving, and that is actually quite an interesting decision space, because like you're going, right, I can see that I want to move 2 spaces away, it's going to cost me 3 ducats, right? Coins or money bucks, quid bucks, whatever you call it. And then you've got to spend some resources to do it, but then some moves it the other way, and you're like, no.
It costs 2 more coins to go after what you had before. You don't have those 2 coins, so
bit of tug of war going on.
A little bit of tug of war going, like, I really want to get the Mozart piece where I need it, so I can then get the bonuses I want to get to. And I found that from an interaction perspective is very interesting.
Sounds interesting.
It's also one of the things that I've sort of over 3 plays now that I quite like is that the resource at the bottom tends to relate to the action at the top. So if you go heavy on certain actions, you get the opposite resources at the bottom because you've plugged in the one that would give you travel points also tends to be the travel action. So if you plug it in the top, you don't get the reward in the to put in the bottom. So it kind of means that this turn, you can go heavy in that direction, but if you do go too heavy in that direction, next turn you're not going to be able to do it at all.
Okay.
And so it really creates this sort of push and pull on what do you want to do and how do you want to do it this turn versus next turn sort of thing.
Okay.
So
always enjoyed my second play. It's your third play, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Good fun.
Enjoyed it.
Nice.
Would I buy it? No. That's because I don't like it.
No.
It's just good fun.
I've really enjoyed every play. It's in one of my top games of new games I've played this year. I think I said this last time on another episode, but I don't think the theme is particularly enticing that I would be able to get other people to play it. And I've now had 3 plays of it, and I feel like I'd like a few more, but I don't want to.
But you would buy it. But you said you'd buy it if it was a Simply Red edition.
I don't quite remember saying that. I did not. No, that might have been your words.
We said instead of the Requiem, it was Money's Too Tight to Mention at the bottom of the board, and you had to kind of fill out. And we had Mick Hucknall on the box rather than.
Is that a song?
It is.
Right.
Yeah. The guy.
That go over your head.
Yeah.
Money's Too Tight to Mention. Cut back. No.
No.
All right.
I barely know Mick
The guy on the front, you could just go over with a ginger highlighter and it would look like a Hucknall. It's kind of, there is some options there for you to turn it into a Simply Red edition.
We did talk about a Metallica version as well.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Yeah. I think you could
reskin
it.
And Seal.
And Seal.
Yeah,
we'll get to that.
Yeah.
The mechanics do sound interesting, but the theming does turn me off completely, I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
But mechanics is what makes
it. The theme doesn't grip me at all, and it didn't excite me when I first played it, but actually the gameplay is solid.
Yeah, I can't think of any recent games where the theme, other than maybe Dungeon Crawlers for me, where the theme's been like, wow, look at that, the theme's well on point.
On Mars. Anyway, carry on.
On Mars.
So, Furnace is probably my next one that I played. I'll hand this over to yourself because it's your game.
Yeah, so I was looking at this or Golem, and I ended up buying Furnace because I thought Golem's another heavy game, and I've got enough of those, and they're hard enough to get to the table as is. So I'll go for Furnace, and I'm glad I did. It's got enough weight for me to like it, but it's also light enough and quick enough that people who don't normally play these will play it. Basically, it's kind of like a little engine builder. You have a market of cards out in front, which everyone has to have you have a little auction phase where everyone has to put their discs down. You've got a 4, 3, 2, and a 1. Highest wins. And you can't ever double up the same number or have 2 of your own colour on each card. But you get compensated. So if I put a 3 down and someone else put a 4 on top, they're going to get the card, but I'll get the resources on top. So there's this nice little competition where you're just like, oh, well, I need the resources here, so but I need enough of them, so I'll put a 3 there, and just hopefully someone else might bid more, then if they don't, you're screwed, you get this card you don't want, and you can screw other people over by putting 2s down so no one else can put a 2 on it, like Adrian did to me, and I was just like, ah.
He had a 2 left in his hand, and I was like, I might as well put a 2 there then, because it stops him going there, and I reckon he wants that.
But then once the auction phase is over, you've got this little engine, and basically you always have a starter card, and that gives you a chance to upgrade your other cards, but you can only usually do it once a turn unless you have a power. Everyone's got these little asymmetrical powers, which are quite light, but they change it enough that your gameplay changes every time. And then you have this little row of cards, and you do a production phase, and you have to do you ignore the resource at the top, and you just do the little production at the bottom. And the main aim of the game is to get money, and most of this is just converting resources. So you're converting coal into oil, and then you've got another card later on that will say spend 1 oil for 4 money. And but the caveat is you have to run the whole card. You can't just pick and choose little bits from it. You have to run that whole card. And there's even a version where you have to then also structure it from left to right and run them in a sequence. And you can never change that sequence.
You acquire the card that has to go on the left of your batch or the right of your batch. I mean, Christ, my head was breaking on the base game, let alone sequencing.
I like the idea of that. The simple version, it took 40 minutes?
40 minutes. Yeah. 40 minutes of play.
We taught the game.
That's 4-player.
Went and took the patron supporter photo and finished the game in an hour. Yeah. Like, it was...
And you feel like you've played a game. It's not like it's a...
Oh, yeah.
it'll be a real nice warm up game for a heavy Euro.
Did you play it, Kerley?
No, I didn't get.
I think you'd really enjoy this. It's literally. I came in thinking, it's going to be a bit light, and I went, Christ, my head hurts, because it's like when you're doing that conversion bit. I mean, the auction bit's fun because you're just like, I really want that card. But I don't want to show I want that card.
I'll be honest.
And it's simple. But really effective. Like literally, it probably wasn't quick the first round because I was like, "What the hell was this game?" But once you get your head round it, it's like bang, 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 get the cards. But then when you're kind of doing all your conversion and running that engine, and you're like, well, the puzzle that's just in front of you, so I'll do that card first, then I'll activate the next one over here, and then I'll get that, and I'll move it there, and then do this and do that, and you're like,
there's a couple of so you talk about the conversion. The conversion can also happen as part of the compensation, right?
Yeah.
And there was one time where I think I put
yes.
I put a 2 on.
Screw you over. Yeah.
I mean, JP got screwed over several times, but there was one where I put a 2 on, thinking someone is going to go for this. This is a brilliant card. I'm going to get the compensation first, and then later on I'm going to get compensation to turn that into stuff. No one else went for it, so I got the card. Like, it was a great card. No one else wanted it, so I got the card and then didn't have anything to convert later on.
Yeah.
Even though just some great choices, and also really nice that you can take that one and put it down, and you feel like you've got something from it. Yeah. The number of times in these kind of auction games where you don't feel like you've got anything for putting a low number down. Sometimes I just put a 2 down first and think, well, gives me options for 1 later if I just want that one item once people have started putting stuff down. And it also kind of ups the ante a little bit on that card. My first play quite often was just a 2. And it's like, I don't necessarily want that card, but I want to make people work for it if they're going to get it. And, you know,
solid game.
And then I'm still going to get some compensation after, so it's not like I've lost anything.
Or I'll win that card if no one else goes for it. There's some really meaty choices
I'll
in
be
it.
surprised if you don't like it, honestly. It's right up the street. And it's quick.
Definitely made the right choice, though, because we did end up playing Golem on the Sunday, which I'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, Furnace was definitely a keeper.
Yeah, I enjoyed
solid
that.
Game.
Yeah.
Cool. What about you, Kerley?
Oh, what, on the Saturday?
On Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, on the Saturday. So, on the Saturday, we played Astra again first thing in the morning. It was just one of those games that was on our minds, and we so enjoyed it, and Becky was really keen. She's still waiting for it, so we gave it another go and loved it even more, if anything. So, yeah, just to mention that one very quickly.
Sweet.
The rest of it was mostly playing games that I've already played before, just with the family, my brother and Becky. But the one that I really wanted to get to the table was Northgard, which I've talked about before.
One of your Kickstarters there, right? About a couple of months ago?
Yeah, a couple of months ago. I haven't had a chance to get it to the table. I kind of feel what you were saying about Great War is similar to what I feel at the moment about Northgard.
Okay.
In the fact of, I can see a bit of potential there. Is there going to be enough in it for me to keep? I'm not sold yet. However, me and Davey, because Davey played with me, it was my brother as well, we had a look at the expansion, and it does look more interesting. So everything, the game felt a bit bland.
Bit basic, wasn't it?
Bit basic. I mean, the whole idea of Northgard, when you really break it down, you've got asymmetrical clan powers and stuff, but really when it comes to it, you've got a deck that you upgrade, a little, 8 or 9 card deck that you upgrade over time, and every time you play a card, you play the action. It might be recruit a troop, it might be build a building, it might be move or whatever. But it's quite basic. Nothing felt different or special about it, I suppose.
It felt like a more basic Innis without any of the drafting aspect.
Yeah, I would say put it this way: there was nothing that for me differentiated it from any of its rivals. Yeah. But having said that, the expansions add. There are 2 different expansions. One of them seems to add a lot more, not like AI, but like there's a lot more, but like monsters out on the board for you to contend with different powers. You draw from a deck and all this kind of stuff.
And have negative effects on that space, so you need to deal with them. So it's not just they're going to fight; it's a negative effect on that whole space. So.
Interesting mechanics.
The other one was the main one, and it provides a lot more asymmetry for the clans.
Right.
So you get a clan war chief, whether the expansion is called war chief, I think, something like that. You get a clan war chief, lots of different abilities and extra stuff.
More cards as well.
More cards, buildings, all that kind of stuff. So it just added a lot more variation that we're hoping will elevate it to that next level. And if it doesn't, I'll sell it.
I think you've just got to try these things, haven't you?
It's definitely one that I love the computer game. Whether I love the board game, I'm not writing it off, but I'm not sold.
Definitely needs another play. I think.
Definitely needs another play.
Yeah.
Now that we know roughly what's going on.
Yeah, it was quite easy to pick up, really, wasn't it? It wasn't too bad. There was some like little
niggles, right, with the rule book, but nothing more than that. It was nice for me as well because again, we were learning it straight from the rule book, so we hadn't really done much prep for it, and we just kind of took it along and gave it a go.
I think you can kind of forgive that at these conventions sometimes because
I kind of felt like that was the point of it, really.
It's the opportunity to get stuff off your shelf that you haven't had a chance to play. And I think normally, like, if you'd have turned up to one of our game nights and said, right, I'm just going to read from the rule book, would shoot you.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably. Like, they would. Like,
it's totally different, though, isn't it?
Yeah, so you would like, can you please leave and learn it and then come back? But I think
time's the biggest factor, I think, isn't it?
I think that's it. I think in convention, even though it's still time is limited, like you only can get so many games kind of in at any kind of one day, but still,
not like speed gaming.
It's just a bit more relaxed, I'd say.
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
bit more chilled, and you don't mind kind of doing that.
We have to play this for 3 hours so we can play the next one.
Which some people like. Myself and Marcus talked about this afterwards. Was that maybe the Friday is the day just to book it, chock off, and like 3 hour slot to 2 hour slot or whatever. Get all the games in that you want to get in, and then maybe relax more on the Saturday and Sunday.
Ease it out. Yeah.
Whereas, to be fair, I didn't book too many on the Saturday or Sunday, but I did feel like I could have squeezed a bit more out of the Friday and done that. And Marcus had booked quite a few games in, and he was feeling pretty sort of on Sunday evening, afternoon, like 3 p.m. on a Sunday, he'd booked a game, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not sure I should have done this sort of thing." Enjoyed the game, but I do think there is a way to do this, which is ram full Friday of games, book them all,
get it out of your system,
get them done, and, and then just relax a bit on the Saturday.
So I only
Sunday.
booked one, so I was just like, I want to book one game, and then I'm just gonna see what happens because I know what I'm like.
Yeah.
So
I think I did too.
Anyway. But yeah, apart from that, played Gugong again, which I haven't played in a little while.
I enjoyed that.
I really enjoyed that. I always do.
I enjoyed that more that time than I did the last time because I wasn't sold on it the first time.
It's just a game that I think just grows on you. It's got an interesting mechanic.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it, I think, this time we played around. I don't know why I didn't think that before, but maybe I wasn't in the mood or I don't know. But this time it seems like there's a lot going on and it was good.
Yeah, so really enjoyed that. I haven't got that to the table in a while. So yeah, apart from that, just a couple of oldies but goodies, So.
Nice.
I think Adrian should talk about your smiley moment of Saturday.
So happy. So how long have we talked about the Lacerda games, and then you've got into them in the last couple of weeks?
I'm just entering the Lacerda-verse.
Yeah, and I played the Gallerist on Saturday, and I don't think I've ever been happier finishing a game than I did the Gallerist. Genuinely, it was such a standout moment. I mean, I was grinning for a good 45 minutes afterwards. Couldn't wipe it off my face. I could poke holes in it, but it's a very difficult job to do, and I was just I turned up, there was 2 other guys that had played it before. I turned up, they weren't expecting the teach, and I was like, I've not played it before. I've watched a couple of videos, so I got a very rough run through and then learnt bits and pieces as I went. But it's such a clean design, well produced. I felt like the theme landed. Again, sometimes with these Euros, the theme is a bit pasted on. I'm sure people could say that about this, but it was enough there. It was tacked on enough. Mm-hmm. Enough super glue put on top of it to hold it into place,
Not Pritt stick, no.
And just had a whale of a time. It was so good. I can't wait. It's on my to-buy list for sure. There's 2 games that are about the same amount of money, and I'm really...
I think I've looked at it before, and I'll
really
be
not sure which one
that.
to get, but it will get there in the next 6 months, I'm sure.
He came back and he literally had his biggest grin on his face, right? And I was like, "You're right." He said, "I've just played the Gallerist." I said, "Mate, I don't think I've ever seen you so happy." Like
it was. You know, when sometimes you're like, okay, these mid to heavy weights, they're just kind of dragging me down a little bit. Like, not that's perhaps a bit harsh, but just kind of done with them. I feel like I know what to expect from them now and all this kind of stuff. And it was a complicated game that was so clear, or like a complex decision game, but it was so clean and just really well done. So just to not beat around the bush anymore, basically you own a gallery, you're up to four galleries competing against each other, and you're either commissioning an artist to make a work, like discovering an artist, which means that you get to buy it no matter how expensive his artwork gets later on. You get to buy it for the cheapest amount because you discovered him. So he's going to create a work of art for you at some point. Mm-hmm. Or you buy a piece of art at the cost it is then. So if someone else has discovered it, it's gone up a bit of money. And you're then trying to pull, there is names for them, white, pink, and brown
Yeah,
workers.
Specific.
But they've got specific things, and it does make sense, but I can't remember the name of them. And the white seems the most important. And you're pulling them in, you're trying to essentially get tickets to pull them into your gallery so you get more victory points for doing things and more money for doing things. And at the same time, you're trying to buy artwork. And some of it, you're then trying to make this artist more famous to then sell it off for more money. And the most money at the end wins, essentially. Or you're trying to keep it in there to unlock benefits because you want people to come and view the artwork in your gallery. So there's 4 spaces. Each of those spaces has 2 actions. Each of those 2 actions has a couple of options. You can either get a contract, or you can sell artwork on one space. You can found an artist or buy work on another space. You can increase an artist's reputation or gain work as another space, and then you can do auctioning, like get involved in the auction, which gives you a masterpiece at the end of the game, or do some little upgrade bits. I can't remember quite what it's called on the left hand side of the board, as it were. If you're already in that space and I want to go into that space, you can go down the next set of victory points, which is like 5 more victory points, and then you can take that action as well. So sometimes I'm looking at a space going, it's not the ideal thing to do, or it's what I want to do, but you're going to get an action. I know you're going to get better action. You're going to get more out of it than I am. So you always have the option of taking that space. It's never permanently blocked off, but it's the opportunity to give someone else, if they're willing to lose the victory points,
someone else benefits from it.
Someone else benefits from it. And it's just, it was so clear. I was so happy with playing that game that,
Nice bit of interaction. I do like it when they add some kind of
it's
player
not just
interaction.
It's not just a block. And you're trying to... I did get the sort of strategy a bit. It's first game, right? So you get bonus points for selling off certain types of artwork at the end of the game, which is your own little hidden thing. And you get bonus points for having the artwork arrayed in your gallery, which again is a little hidden thing. They're the only 2 hidden victory conditions in the game. And there's only 4 different types, so you're only competed over a limited stack. But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm glad you had fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, shall I say what I played on the Saturday? I turned up and I played Deal with the Devil. I didn't know quite what to expect. I did watch like a review video of it. I didn't watch Paul's how to play video, but Paul was running the game, which was really helpful. I played with Mark Dainty from Not Bored Gaming on YouTube. Played with Chris and Andrew, and it's a really good game. It's going to be hard to get to the table because it has to be 4 players. But the basic...
it's not min 4, like I suppose it's minimum 4, max 4. So
min 4, max 4.
Only.
Yeah, 4 only, yeah.
Not 4.5?
No. So if you've got 2 friends, you're fucked. But,
I'll leave now.
Is that what I was going to say? That's why Davey's not bothering.
There's 3 people here, but it's whether you play or not.
Adrian will never do social deduction.
No.
So carry
on.
It's
a social deduction game, but it also has kind of like this trade aspect. And basically, 1 person's a devil, 2 people are mortals, and 1 person's a cultist. The cultist has 2 pieces of soul. The mortals have their whole soul, so 3, and the devil has none. But the devil has a shite ton of resources, and it's kind of got an engine builder to it as well, where you want to spend these resources because you've got a little hand of cards, and to play these cards, it give you different effects and bonuses. And the devil, you'll put all your stuff in this little box, and you'll be like, well, what do I need? So you'll put some stuff in a box, and you'll kind of indicate what you want for it on this little dial thing. Shut your box, hand it over, and scan it over an app, which has got a little QR code on the bottom, and it will tell you once you've shuffled these boxes where each box goes to, each player. You open it up, you have a look, and you think, oh, do I want that? So the devil's basically putting resources in and saying, this is going to cost you 1 soul. And so you open up and you go, oh, is that worth one of my bits of my soul? And you're like, actually, yeah, I want this card. So you put your soul in and trade it.
Traded your soul.
You're thinking...
Quite macabre, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. And then there's a build phase, and you kind of all build, and you get points for having certain build, like card combinations. And so you're thinking, well, what's so bad about losing part of my soul? Well... There's a witch hunt phase where basically you can all try and vote on who you think the devil is, or who the cultist is, and you put your votes in the box and you hand out, do the same thing over again. If two people are the same, you get a little mob come out in front of you, rabble, 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 and the mob basically means you start getting these negative effects that happen to you, and these negative effects will impact you later when you have the Inquisition. And the Inquisition basically is these little card effects that you have to reveal bits of soul for to ignore, and they're like, pay a shit ton of resources or lose loads of VPs. And so that's why the devil wants your soul, is so that he can start revealing, oh look, I'm human. Yeah. So there's also a thing with Witch Hunt where if you get voted, if you show 3 pieces of soul, then the mob doesn't come for you as well.
Yeah.
So
okay.
if you played a really good game and got a load of souls as a devil, you could be like, oh yeah, I'm fine. So
and cast shade at other players.
Yeah, and to be honest, it was one of the most unique. I think it was my game of the weekend. Because it's really unique, and it had this real nice aspect of a little bit of bluffing, but not too much. A little bit of Euro where you're building your cards and having certain effects. It was just good fun, and the biggest thing is it was different. There's so many games now where
it's a similar thing and
similar
mechanics.
And I just really enjoyed it. Paul did a great job of teaching it, obviously.
Standard,
Well
done, Paul.
He said he really enjoyed running the game as well, actually. But he said he doesn't enjoy the game himself because I think it is really dividing because of how that social aspect of it, the deduction.
You either like that kind
of
stuff.
It's polarising, isn't it?
Don't you? Really, it's like
one of your favourites.
Do you want to wheel in deal?
Yeah.
Did you feel like a used car salesman throughout the game? Is that what you kind of feel like?
No. I was
a soul, mate. I
was immortal, so I was having to trade my soul away. So if anything. But I was just trying to guess who the devil is. I thought it was Mark for ages. I thought he was. I was like, he seems to have a load of resources, but no, he's just been giving his soul away willy nilly. So it was good fun, and I think it's not something I definitely will buy because I don't know how much I'll be able to get to the table.
Sounds intriguing.
But I would definitely play it again, and I think that second playthrough would dictate if I would buy it. Because I wanted to give it another go on the Sunday, but I just never got round to it. But so played that. Then we played Furnace because we had a quick little filler, which we've already spoken about.
That was my first play on Saturday, wasn't it? Yeah.
Then I played Northgard, which we've spoken about, and then we played Hunger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the end of the day, wasn't it?
The end of the day, we played Hunger, which is made by Richard Garfield, so Magic designer, Keyforge, made loads of other things. King of Tokyo, which I'm surprised about.
I didn't realise. I thought someone else.
I said it, no one believed me.
No, I know. It's not his usual kind of forte, though, is it?
So I'm going to do a kind of a lightweight family game.
Yeah. Which I suppose Hunger's quite a lightweight game, really. So basically, you've got this big Clank-esque board because it's done by the same producers of Clank.
Renegade Studios, is it?
Renegade Studios, and it's got a similar mechanic where you've got to kind of push your luck and get out. But it's then got this little deck building aspect because you're vampires and you've got to go hunt these humans. And the hunt is you basically collecting more cards, but they start clogging up your deck if you hunt too many. So you need some other powers in there to keep yourself moving. Otherwise, you end up just fat and stuck at the entrance.
Swearing.
Swearing. Yeah, I did not move anywhere from the outside that car. I was literally just
you were at the inn.
Yeah, I was at the inn the whole time.
Feeding on the inn.
Just feeding on the inn, and I didn't do too bad. It definitely had some unique combinations, and it was quite a light little deck builder. It was good fun, really. So
you have to get. Normally, you try and go out as far as you can almost and get out. I mean, you stuck at the inn, which is definitely a strategy, but.
It's because I had a pig, which meant I could hunt twice by just standing still. I was just like, right, I'm just going.
It's going to be a pig.
Go truffling.
Truffle.
Yeah, exactly.
So you normally the people when you go in vampire people. Hunt is,
I've got a vampire, you.
Vampire the shit out of you, mate.
So when you go and hunt people, normally you get more points if you hunt them further away from the castle.
That's it.
And you then have to get back before it's daybreak. And at the very end of the track is a rose. And the rose gives you permanent repeat abilities. So it's quite good to get out of that. What you tend to find, if you're delirious at the end of a Saturday night,
we were,
is everyone starts doing the seal, baby,
Yeah.
Sorry, apologies, listeners, for that.
Kiss from a Rose.
That's what we were doing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what we were singing. Well, I thought we were singing it because of the Lacrimosa comment earlier from Marcus. So I thought everyone was just singing a song. So I was singing along. And then Marcus, you destroyed Marcus's Rose. After he spent all game getting it.
I jumped on him and made him discard it every opportune moment I could, which he swore at me all the time, and it was just funny.
He kept mentioning this rose, and I was like,
Baby.
hey. He's singing it because there's a rose in the game, and I was tired, but literally, it just, everyone just fell about laughing.
Like, that game wasn't my favourite game, but it was my favourite... one of my favourite experiences, sociably.
Yeah, it was.
I think we were all knackered.
Yeah.
Like I say, delirious. We weren't really taking anything too seriously at all. There's a lot of banter being thrown around the table. We were probably making too much noise, but we were just having pretty much a good time.
Because it was Joel from Devon Dice.
He bought the game.
His game.
It's his game, wasn't it?
And
nice guy.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. But he told us some funny anecdotes as well, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, we won't repeat them.
We won't repeat them, no.
But
I wasn't going to say who.
best not to. But anyway, we got a look when you went, oh, there's a rose. Like the noise we made in laughter, just crying with laughter. And everyone's like, what is going on over there?
To be fair, I was the table next door, and yes, they were getting looks from me. What the hell is going on?
See, but just
it's such a simple little thing.
I just looked over and Davey's got his head right back and his tongue poking out, and he just literally laughing his head off. It was brilliant.
It was just one of them games where it didn't matter who won, who lost. It was just funny. We ran out of time. We literally had 5 minutes to do 3 rounds.
Speed game at the end, wasn't it? It was like literally as if daylight was coming out. It was just like, go!
Yeah, it was a good finish to the day.
Yeah.
But rewinding a little bit, because I haven't talked about my game of the show.
Yes,
Hoplomachus.
Oh, of course. I thought that was your
I got a sneaky peek game of Hoplomachus Remastered. But it was taught to me by Mark Dainty, again from Not Board Gaming. Again, lovely chap, lovely guy, lovely to meet him. And me, Rob, so I managed to get Rob in on this, and Emma from the Gaming Rules Patreon. We were all kind of played, and then me and Rob were on a team, and Emma was playing with Mark Dainty, who's played the games loads of times. So I was thinking, we're going to get absolutely knackered here because he knows what he's doing. But it was just kind of a teaching game. We did. Essentially, Hoplomachus is coming in 2 products. You've got Victorium, which is the solo-only kind of big adventure, big box, kind of going round the world, ending up in Mount Vesuvius, and basically giving the kind of the big boss a big kicking at the end, or the scion, as they're called. But the Remastered is essentially the remake of the original Hoplomachus, which is done by Chip Theory Games. Hey, surprise.
Wonder who made that.
I'm not even sorry anymore.
It comes in a big box. Does it now?
And of course, I've already backed this thing, and I was just really keen to give it a go. But essentially, we're playing like a skirmish mode in a gladiatorial, basically arena, and it was a kind of a team v team, so 1v1 kind of game matchup. We were playing as the Parthians, and Mark and Emma were playing as the New Argonauts. And essentially, we have our team, we have our squad, and you draw out 4 from chips from the bag. They're your starting units that you have, like your hand.
Yeah.
And in there could be a beast as well. Every team or faction has a beast that you can have, and also a Beastmaster. And beasts, when they come out, or if you deploy them without Beastmasters, they're a bit uncontrollable. You have to use dice to kind of point them where they're going to move. They're a bit random, but Beastmasters allow you to control them. They're usually bloody powerful things. Like we had this thing called the Ibex, like this big goat ram thing.
Yeah.
And the other team had a massive bear. And it's like, I felt that. I thought, we're going to get a kick in.
The Ibex or a bear?
It was this massive bear, and it just kicked the shit out of everyone. So essentially, you can kind of imagine a hex grid arena. You've got your kind of squad of gladiators fighting the opposition. A lot of dice chucking, but very tactical kind of play. Lots of like keywords, as you expect from Chip Theory games. And essentially kind of how it works is like you start by deploying. When you deploy a unit onto the arena, you have deployment spaces where they come out. They typically start dazed, so you can't really move them or do anything with them. So they're coming out to the arena. They're the glory of the crowd and they're soaking it in, nothing's really happening unless they have skills like First Strike, or they're tacticians, which means they can move, or First Strike means they can attack straight away. And obviously at the start it's quite slow because you go, I deploy a unit, can't really do much, you'll go. I deploy a unit, can't really do much, you'll go. Then I deploy another unit and then I get to move the unit that's already out there. And then you can kind of move them. You can play tactics on the opposition. You have these tactics chips that like to bolster health, like hamstring your opponents, and all sorts of different cool stuff that you can kind of do to mitigate certain things. So it starts simple and then bloody grows in kind of complexity the more units you have, because now you're thinking, well, if I go there, then they're going to do this and that, and position play is so important, the order in which you activate things, the order in which you attack things, and it was just as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be brilliant, and I just probably thought it was better. I just loved it. I just wanted to kind of elbow Rob out of the way and go, get out of the way, Rob, I want to play this on my own. But I'm not a git, so I wanted him to kind of share the experience. But yeah, absolutely just fell in love with it.
Is there a resource to bring a unit out, or is it just so
you have, yes, it's an important part. So in Remastered you have tracks on each side of the arena, you red and blue, essentially the two sides of the team. Every time you kill the opposition, you gain 2 favour, crowd favour. And every time you start your round on these stone plinths in the middle of the arena, you gain crowd favour. So you're like soaking in, going,
It sounds so much like a game called Pox Nora, which probably no one will ever know. It's a very niche computer game, but it sounds exactly like that.
And as you progress up the track, you unlock your hero. Like your hero's your big beefy character, is going to do a lot of damage. However, if the opposition kills your hero, they win.
So it's essentially King of the Hill, isn't it? Like
a little bit, yeah.
An arena-style King of the Hill.
And the more you unlock, you can get some of your tactics back that you've played. You can get some of your units back that have died. And ultimately, there's like a neutral hero at the top of the track. So you kind of, tactically, do you want to hold the middle and gain crowd favour but get an absolute kick in? Or do you want to hold back and kill things to do? Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, that's just remastered. And in that box has 1v1 mode, like deathmatch, 4-player, like literally all going in, 2v2, solo. I mean, there's just so many modes just in remastered.
It's a good arena game kind of thing.
Yeah, good arena game. And then because of Victorian, which I didn't play, you can mix and match, like factions, units, and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of makes it richer.
A bigger experience.
And yeah, I loved it. My game of the show, 100%.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Yeah, look forward to playing it. Yeah.
It does sound like the sort of game that would fit into my not to be played 2v2 rule.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
I don't think so. I think that...
It seems to me like I don't want to be like, no way.
No, but they weren't playing 2v2, they were playing 1v1 rules, but with 2 people.
Yeah, on that particular game, but it can play like an alliance.
So you have your own units you're controlling, and he has their own units, and they're controlling their own resources to spend.
Yeah. That was my thought with it. Was
I'd rather just do deathmatch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's my point.
But again, some people will want to play the 2v2. So if there's a 2v2 mode in there,
exactly.
It adds to the experience, adds to the value in the box.
I think you can co-op certain things. You can go against Titans as well. So you can kind of go like me and Kerley will take a faction each and take on these Titans, or Immortals, which is a bit like Horde mode.
Yeah.
So you kind of get wave after wave after wave.
That sounds more like my speed, I'll be honest, is fully co-op.
Yeah.
Than deathmatch.
Work together and puzzle it through kind of thing. Anyway, I could talk about this for another hour, but best not.
Definitely sounds interesting.
Loved it.
Theming's right up my alley.
Oh yeah, your theme. Gladiator, the ball game.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
I looked at it on Kickstarter and was a bit like, maybe not, but I quite like a try of it.
Yeah.
That sounds right, man. I spent hours and hours in Pox Nora, and this sounds exactly like it, but the ball game. So
yeah, it's chips.
Near
free.
Fat boy.
There we go. So yeah, I think that was our day 2. Should we move on to day 3?
Yeah, definitely. That was a packed day 2. I know.
Day 2 was.
Yeah, I only got 2 games in on day 3, and like after 5 or 6 on day 1 and 5 or 6 on day 2, it was like, this is a bit more.
Well, I felt like I kind of missed out on Friday, so I just wanted to go right games, fill the day, just go mad, and yeah, I was done by 11. I think it's like someone said, "Should we play in the bar?" I would have run away. I think.
Nice.
But
yeah.
Knacked.
Yeah, you guys, and also Kerley and your lot when you played on Sunday, you guys went quite early on the Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, we finished the game, and I think you guys were mid another board game. We were like, do we wait around to them to finish?
We're about to sync for a lot of the
I don't think I played with you, mate.
No, we didn't. No.
I think
wasn't anything. Did I do anything to upset you?
I don't think it. Yes.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about it later. That would upset him, not me.
That's what I said.
That's true. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
So
Sunday
morning, you guys played a game.
Yeah, we played Golem. Did you want to talk about Golem, or do you want to talk about Revive?
No, I'll talk about Golem first. So we just randomly picked a game, and we could have just stared at that library for about 40 minutes. A bit like trying to pick a film on Netflix, isn't it? I hate doing it. So we just said, Golem, that'll do. Don't really know much about the game, but it's kind of set. Where the hell is it set? I don't know. It's
Prague,
set
isn't it?
Isn't
Prague, yeah. So it's set over basically about building golems, and it's all about kind of a Jewish religion.
Yeah, it's got Jewish kind of
synagogue,
thing. Yeah.
And about then controlling your golems with the knowledge and trying to not let them run rampant around Prague. So
it's kind of a the board's kind of set down in these kind of streets, and there are kind of 3 core streets that signify 3 colours. That's about as much theme as I know in this game. It's, as I'm sure my explanation will unravel very quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's we had a bit of a rough start with it just because none of us had learnt the game. And to be fair to Joel, who happened to just come by, and he said, "Oh, do you want me to teach you? I've literally got 10 minutes." Oh, thank God for that. So he gave us
we had a little bit of a head start.
I think without that, we probably would have
been really lost.
It would have been a bit of a struggle. But so yeah, it's kind of got this gizmos kind of mechanic with marbles, which is quite fun. So you kind of throw a load of marbles in this cardboardy tower thing. They'll roll out into these lanes, and those lanes kind of signify the different actions that you can kind of take. So typically on your turn, you'll take a coloured marble that you want to kind of sync up with the nobles or higher up people or whoever these people are out of cards on the top of the board. So they're like red, blue, yellow, black and white. And white are kind of like wild to appease those nobles, but they don't really advance your students, which are these little meeples that sit on each of the streets. That helps you get income throughout the game. Whereas if you pick like a red marble, it would move the red student along one, etc. So all the different actions you can do, you can kind of activate your golems that are on those streets as well, which allow you to do these supplementary actions on the board. You can kind of gain knowledge and kind of purchase books, or use that knowledge to purchase books or upgrades on your player board. And the books kind of slot in at the top of your board. That's a bit of a set collection and kind of action engine building kind of thing that's going on there.
Which actually I didn't realise had a similar thing to Revive as well.
Yeah, it's kind of similar. Like you slot book in.
You slot it in and it does everything down the line.
Yeah, you kind of activate the chain, don't you?
Yeah.
And the kind of whole premise is that you're going to build these golems and they kind of run rampant like every round.
Don't really have control of where they're running. So like, whoop, you have a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, the more golems you have, you can split your movement. But they just go.
They're just like, I want to run down the street. And you think, well, that's okay, because all the cool actions at the end of the street. But the kind of rub of the game is that at the end of the round is where your student is and where the golem is. If the golem's ever in front of the student, you have to pay knowledge as the difference in spaces.
Oh,
and if you can't, you pay victory points. So you kind of
5 VPs per space.
Per space,
well,
You're like, oh shit, because like your golem's just gone a bit mad and started
down the road.
doing horrible stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of got this. I really need to watch what I'm doing, and at the start of every round, they have movement points, as Davey said, that you allocate to those golems, and you kind of go, actually, I don't mind the blue track them running down. 1, because I want the action, but 2, I'm planning on moving my student 3 spaces, and I won't have to pay that much in the difference. But yeah, I think, like I say, we had a rough start with it. I
think it's a good, solid game.
Yeah.
But I don't think it does anything too unique for me to want to play it again. I mean, I would play it again, so that's a lie. But to buy it, it doesn't do anything unique.
No. I'd like to say I don't hate it, or I don't think it's average. I think it's good. But yeah, like I say, there's nothing new in it.
No. After you guys finished playing it, I thought it sounded like a load of rubbish, because you guys come away and you were really quite like sick of playing it by the end of it. It seemed like.
I think it's because like we caught the rules up
to play as
and
well.
read the rule book around passing about 4 times, and again, I think if I'd watched videos and done preparation, it would have sunk in.
Just one of those games.
We still didn't understand passing.
And it just got to the point where it really doesn't matter now.
In the rule book, it was like Sarah passes, and Dave, and Dave does this, and then it was just like Jane, and it was just like who's Jane? It didn't mention Jane throughout the whole thing, and then it says Jane gets to put the marbles in. It was like. Yeah, but who is that? Like,
I'm sure Jane was mentioned.
Yeah, but it's the next.
I'm sure it was mentioned. If I sat and read the rule book from cover to cover, you just don't have time.
Yeah.
So you scan reading, you're trying to work it out.
Or it might just be a bad rule book.
Who knows?
So, I mean, apart from the rule book, it might have been you didn't give it a fair shake, but you both sort of looked like, again, like a cool. I played a game, fine, sort of thing. You know,
it didn't blow me away, but. Yeah, I'd play it again. Like I say, I just.
I think it just took a long time to get through it as well, so it did feel a bit of a slog.
It was 2 hours.
Maybe it felt longer. Yeah,
but even with us,
it's the sign of a good game.
God, it felt like 6 hours. No, it was only 2. But I can't sit here and say it was bad like that because I don't think that's true at all.
No, I don't think it was bad. As I said, I just didn't have anything too new, and I think I made the right choice in not getting that and getting Furnace, in my opinion. Even though Furnace doesn't...
It's not really comparable, is it?
Well, I just meant even though it's not like it doesn't bring anything really unique to the table. It's just more fun.
I don't think it would have staying presence.
No.
I think you'd probably get a few plays at best out of it, and then people might
go
be
on the shelf with my barrage, which I've struggled to get to the table. But I love that game.
I really like it. But anyway, so too mean.
Well, it's also the couple of the same designers as Barrage.
Yeah, and Lorenzo Magnifico. So it's kind of that Italian board game design.
I remember liking Lorenzo.
I was looking forward to Lorenzo.
Oh, Lorenzo's better.
Is it?
I love Lorenzo.
Yeah, Lorenzo's good.
Another go.
So if you ask me, do I want to play Golem or Lorenzo? Got to like Lorenzo any day.
Yeah, my thought was more Barrage.
Well, yeah. No, they're not. It's nothing like it.
Cool. All right, still give it.
Still might not like it,
but
it's nothing like this. No.
Okay, what was your morning like on Sunday?
Well, the most important part of Sunday morning was the fry up that I had.
How many sausages did you have?
I think I had 3.
I did have a look at that.
It was quite restrained for me. Normally it would have been 4 or more.
It was like 20 quid with it, wasn't it?
I did, but it was super expensive. Yeah, I must say it was £17.
Ooh, breakfast.
Which was like, I got to be honest with you, like I don't know whether you plan to talk about it, but I did feel like the food for the money was really good quality in general at the hotel. But I would say it was a definite exception. That breakfast, it was tasty, but £17 for what is
it's hotel holiday and breakfast.
But this is it. So the food was
but you
solid.
It was like 11 quid.
It was nothing exciting. It wasn't 4 Michelin stars or however many Michelin stars at the top. It wasn't anything like that. But it was solid food. A little bit more than you'd normally pay at a restaurant because you're stuck in a hotel sort of thing. So
I'm not even sure.
I think it was a bit cheaper than a restaurant. I think actually it wasn't that bad.
£10 for a pizza or £10 for a burger and chips.
It's not that bad. Not a convention.
Well, I thought 12 quid for chicken burger and chips was a bit.
That's kind of standard now.
On the much side, but okay. Either way.
Yeah. I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was quite good for the money.
Yeah. But, I didn't mind paying it. It
wasn't 8 quid for a sausage roll at the expo, was it?
No,
Jesus Christ.
Definitely not. But yeah, so apart from that, I'm going to be quite boring and just say I had a lovely game of Terraforming Mars on the Sunday.
But you got Rob to play his first game.
I did.
And I think that was quite important.
Terraforming Mars.
A Euro game.
A teach game, it always takes quite a long time, and it was like that. But we all had a really good game. I think Rob enjoyed it.
Yeah, he said. I've asked him, and I said, "Did you enjoy that?" And he said, "Yeah, he did." I think once he got his engine built.
Yeah,
and kind of figured out how obviously the game works. I think he started to enjoy the satisfaction of building, like you do in most engine building games.
You said the same in Concordia almost when we played Concordia. Is that once I've worked out how to build the engine and what order to do things, he seems to quite enjoy himself.
I just never pegged him for an engine builder, but I was happy to teach him, and he seemed to enjoy it, and it was a good game. So really good fun as always with Terraforming Mars. My favourite game probably. So.
No, you can't go wrong with it.
No, you can't.
I would have happily joined you, but I was busy. We seem, like I say, we seem to be out of sync with our game times throughout pretty much the whole convention.
Well, the whole convention.
Yeah.
And then obviously I wasn't there, so definitely out of sync then.
It's all good. But it's not like we don't play enough bloody games.
No.
That's true. That's true.
What about you? You did a game first thing, didn't you?
I did Castles of Burgundy, which is a very close second, like very close. So I can't remember if I've mentioned it or not. This year I decided I was going to cross off my list a lot of designers who I hadn't played, and a lot of them are very famous, well-known designers. I seem to have picked up a lot of games that are by either first-time designers or sort of not prolific. So earlier in the year I played Great Western Trail, I've signed off Vista. I played Lacerda on the Saturday. That signed off another designer, and I finally got Castles of Burgundy to the table and managed to sign off my first Feld. And just such a strong. I can understand why it's still going like these years later, and there's a big glorified deluxe version on GameFound at the moment. Is because it's just such a strong mix of a bit of engine building, a little bit of sort of that puzzle of what goes where. And essentially, you roll 2 dice, and you can either spend one to just get 2 workers, which allow you to increase or decrease your dice by 1, or you can spend a dice to grab something off of the table that's in that number space. So all the spaces are 1 to 6. So you roll your 2 dice at the start of the turn. You pick a tile out of the 1 section if you spend a 1. That goes into your little pile of you're allowed 3 things together, and then you can spend another dice to then put that from your board into that numbered space, but it has to be touching other tiles. So you start with a tile in the middle of the board, and it has to touch another tile. So, you kind of dictated by the dice a little bit. You can't strategize too much. It is that nice mix of a bit of strategy, but probably more on the tactical side of things. And then the other thing you can do is you can sell goods. So one of the tiles, the ship, allows you to pick up goods that, again, randomise where they come out, and they've all got a number 1 to 6, and you can spend a dice of that corresponding colour to gain victory points and a silver. And when you get 2 silver, you can pay it on top of your turn to gain a hex from the middle of the board, so it allows you a little extra turn. And then there's like a whole load of point saladiness of, okay, if you complete a pasture of sheep.
There's a theme of things you quite like.
What's
point
that?
Salad.
I'm not normally the biggest fan of point salad, but I played a nice mix of point salad games at this weekend. It's not normally my, I wouldn't say it's a defining feature of games that I like, because quite often I do like to sort of head down a route a little bit, or, play a little bit of stuff, but have a main purpose. But there's enough point salad in this that, I'll complete a pasture, so therefore, because I did that in the first turn, I get more points. But the bigger the section of green hexes, the more points you get. So do you go after the little hex and get early points, or do you go after the big hex and try and do it earlier and sort of get a nice mix of big section points and earlier turn points? And it just flowed really nicely. I played it for the first time with Mark, because it's one of his favourite games, and I played with it, and again, I'm terrible with names. I believe it was Caroline and Jason, whose surname were Castle. So I played Castle with the Castles, which was quite a good laugh, and a few bits and pieces in there. And it's got a little bit of sort of beating people to the punch and all that kind of stuff in the order you do things in. It was just a really nice, solid game. Again, clean, a nice mix, a bit more on the tactical side. Yeah. But a really nice mix of bits and pieces.
I'd love to play it. I've never played it.
I looked at that deluxe version, and it does look
good.
But the cost was like,
it's either the Gallerist or the deluxe version of Castles of Burgundy, and I'm kind of still not quite sure.
But you own the Castles of Burgundy, obviously the cheaper, older version. You own it though.
I do, but the production quality is pretty poor.
I get it, but you already have the game.
And the Gallerist, you were smart.
And you don't have it.
You just want to play more Lacerda.
Absolutely,
right?
Damn, he's figured me out.
I'm still torn on which one I want to get, because I do think that it's not the prettiest of games, and it is a bit of an off-put. But yeah, absolutely. And then halfway through that, we had the raffle draw.
You did, yeah, we did, yeah.
We did. Yeah. And Paul's reading through the list of names, and it sounded everyone's like that, right? And he went and finally Adrian, and I was like, oh my gosh, I never win anything. This will be great. And then the pessimist side of me went, that's the bottom of the list. It's gonna be a chunk of small games that they can't get rid of, or something.
I thought it was the other way around. I was like, he might win Frosthaven. I'm gonna mug him.
No,
he had a running joke with me and said, but out of my luck, I bet I win Cloudspire, because he really hates Cloudspire.
I genuinely thought
and he thought, that's what I'm going to win.
But honestly, I thought I had no chance. I bought 5 tickets. I thought, like I do with all these kind of raffle things, because I never win them, I thought it's 25 quid to charity, right? Like, happy bunnies.
Yeah, likewise.
And I won Weather Machine, like Vita Lacerda's new thing before it's even really hit people. And he bought the game over, and I went, this is a joke, right? I thought he was going to pick it over, go, oh, and then put it back and go, this instead.
That would be mean.
That'd be really mean. Yeah. But in my head, pessimist side of me was out. It was like, I'm going to win the little section. Oh my gosh, I'm so made up, so happy. And
you came over just like smiling again. Just like
Adrian's had the best weekend ever.
Yeah. So I got that. There was Carcassonne on there as well, the new version of Carcassonne. Dobro and
which if you don't want,
I've got the big box version, but it's a miscut big box version. So I'm kind of thinking as to what I need to do, whether I need to buy the new expansions and get a nice new version, which is nicely.
Well, if you want to get that to the table, I actually do enjoy that. I've not played it in ages either.
I've played that a few times this year, but I really enjoy it. So so I was really made up with that and totally unexpected. So signed by Vittel himself, and I've opened that up when I got back on Sunday. And just sort
smelled it.
Looked through all the really nice components and the dual layer player board, and was like, oh.
But it looks good. And I was kind of like, because I've late back this thing already, and then it's like, oh damn, I've got 2 copies now.
You looked at it and went, I've got that coming, and I was like, is he happy or not?
I'm so happy for you, and I'm like, I shouldn't have got that now. I could have got something else.
One of those things, isn't it? But absolutely made up. I say, to have played a Lacerda on the Saturday, my first Lacerda, and loved it so much, and then to have won it in the raffle, just absolutely crazy. Great. So, but like the raffle was what, £4,500 raised, absolutely crazy. And every single they divided it into 35 lots, which was more than just one game. And I think that was the sensible thing to do with all of the games that they had there. Otherwise it would take them hours to have drawn it all and done all that lot. And the prizes were Frosthaven, there was Cloudspire, there was Perseverance, there was Cerebria, there was Hoplomachus, Weather Machine.
I mean, you've probably been happy with any of those. I'll say any of those. Maybe some of the lots you might not have been as happy with, but again, that's not the reason why. It's kind of the reason people wanted to win, but I
think they would have all been over 80 quid's worth. Each lot would have been at least 80 quid's worth.
It was a good balance, wasn't it?
It was a good balance, because the person who got Frosthaven got like a couple of little diddy games on top of it. And so I got like Carcassonne and that, and then there was like.
I was going to say the person who got Frosthaven got Monopoly just to balance.
just
kicking the
yin and yang of it, just like joke.
It was there was no lot that was like, oh, that's probably less than the value of a strip of tickets, sort of thing. So
it was a good raffle.
It was a really good raffle. So,
and that's why obviously it got so much money as well. Yeah. Not only just because of the charity side.
But I think it just felt good though. Like, even though the majority of people didn't win, I don't think anyone was like really salty about it.
No, of course,
not that I know of. And you can sometimes find that when you're like, I didn't win. Yeah,
some people do.
Yeah. I kind of like with respect to Adrian who won. It's like one of those things that when I spend money on a raffle, that's like as far as I'm concerned, money gone.
That's gone. Yeah.
It's cost. It's kind of like you said, it's a charity. There we go.
Yeah.
And I think, as I say, it's kind of smart to divide it into 35 lots or whatever it was, because if there'd been like a 200 drawn. Because there was, I reckon, about 200 games there. There's over 100 at least games in there. I reckon if there'd been over 100 lots drawn and you'd put 40 quid in and hadn't won anything, I think people would have been more sour about that than here's 35 lots. But because of the 4,000, that there's like a 1 in 20, 1 in 30 chance of winning if you bought like a strip. It was some weird odds of it. But so that was my game of the morning. You guys went home at that point, I think.
Yeah. I think we got to like 2:30, 3 o'clock, and we were like,
we're playing our last game.
You guys were playing a game,
and then we
played Revive, which was what JP wanted to play and had booked out.
Yeah, I got off the hot games list. Yeah,
and I think I ended up enjoying it more than.
Everyone else at the table.
Well, everyone else at the table. I think there's a theme of me winning games when we play and you're not enjoying them.
I actually enjoyed
it. Through Chain Magnet.
No. I didn't enjoy that.
No. But
what is Revive first?
So I'll go over it.
Yeah.
So Revive's kind of a bit of a new hotness. It's kind of like a deck builder, area control with a bit of kind of engine building as well. So you've got this beautiful player board. So JP was really excited about that. And to be honest, once I saw it, it looks cool. It's meant to be like this machine, I guess. Mm-hmm. So the whole theme of it is it's an apocalyptic world. You play these tribes which are coming up to the surface and realizing that the world's revived, and you can now start building out. And yeah, you have these player boards which, when you eventually build out, will go around and give you other abilities. You slot cards in which have double actions on them. The top's usually a resource, and the bottom is usually do something, either like upgrade your engine, or sometimes it's like do something at a reduced cost, or do your special ability, which is on your other player board, which has its own technology tree on it. And yeah, this area control has a little, like, once you put a building down, no one else can build there. You've got cities where you place your people, which is your technology tree, which when a person's there, it costs other people more resources to go there. And it's very open, and there's lots of different strategies you can take, and it's kind of, it's got lots of little combos in there as well.
Yeah. And the rest. There's a massive combo.
Yeah. So you've also got these artifacts which link up to what points you score, because at the start you get a gold card which has purple, orange or white of these major artifacts, and at the bottom it has the condition. And by getting these artifacts, you get multipliers onto that condition. So if you've got 4 purples, then it would be 4 times whatever numbers on the card. And then at each edge of the map, there's
like large cities
that also have victory point multipliers. And the caveat is everyone starts in the middle, and then you have to start building out. And once you've built, your ranges from that building from there on. And so I was quite lucky. No one contended where I went, so I just went off in my own direction.
We let Davey just play the game without any contention.
I got a multiplier which linked up with my gold card, and I ended up at 104 points. Which, when I looked online, the highest at the moment is 124 on there at the moment. So it was a good score, I guess, for my first playthrough.
How many points did you get, JP?
Oh, it's shit, about 46, mate.
No,
it was really bad.
I just made it around the 50 mark.
Yeah.
So it was it wasn't like, a bit close. It was a long runaway.
I felt lost in it, but I'll come back to that.
And and it's kind of all kind of like, it was kind of lucky as well. Like, I had something that linked up on my gold card to what was on the table, so I got a massive multiplier. No one contended me with my major artifact, so I had all the purples. So I just had multiplier on top of multiplier, really, and my points just went, ooh.
I do feel it's kind of like a drawback of area control games in general, actually. Just that kind of, especially when you're playing like a 3-player, it's like 2 people are probably going to go at it and the 3rd player wins. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we had that with Rurik, didn't we?
Yeah, we had it with Rurik. We had it with Northgard, really.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Jay jumped me, and then I had to fight him off, and then you tried to jump me, and then obviously it was like, you weaken each other out. And then you get kicked off.
Yeah, and I think from what I've seen online about Revive was, because I really enjoyed it, and it has it's really crunchy, and there's lots of different combo elements there, and the campaign's going to be really good. This little campaign where you go through and like unlock more abilities and powers.
They call it a campaign, but really it's modules that you unlock in inverted quotes.
Add as you go.
But it does add lore to it as well, apparently, and people like that about the whole. Yeah. It does add a lot of backstory.
No,
I think it's lighter than that. I think the lore is on a couple of cards. So it's not in the book, right? So you literally have a deck of cards, and on there there'll be a little bit of lore. And then you'll play your base game, and then you'll read the next one, and then another module's unlocked. I think it's that. That's from what I've read.
The theme made no sense to me. What related to the board and the theme and all that, I just didn't.
It's going to be like an engine that you've got that's building through your, helping you build your towns. And
there was no part of that between the cards, the engine on the board, the actual theme on the board. I was like, this could have been anything as far as I was concerned.
You haven't worked out Adrian didn't enjoy it.
No, to be fair, so I was waiting for you guys, and you were midway through TM in a teaching game, and I was like, they're not going to be done in the next hour or so. Go on and I'll join. I wasn't interested. I watched playthroughs. I didn't think it was for me, and it was even worse than I expected. So.
And we had someone join us called Tim who'd played it before, who was a lovely chap. And
nice guy.
Did a good bit of teaching. And
JP
did a bit of teaching. Tim did a bit of teaching.
It was good.
Made it
complimented each other because I'd watched some videos in the morning. He'd played it the day before, so it was kind of like I say something, and I'd look at Tim and go, "Is that right, Tim?" Like, yeah, it's right. But then there's certain things that he was playing that he was getting wrong that I remembered from the video that contradicted it. So I was like pulling him up on a few rules and going, and he went,
because it was only the first time they played.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't like an expert at it by any stretch. So I think between us we kind of covered it. But no, I think it's been making me think this game. I kind of came away. I was disappointed, but I think I was disappointed at my performance of the game, not the game itself, to be honest. And I think I kind of figured out, as you usually do on your first play with some of these things, that I made no attempt to get in anybody's way. I tried to kind of figure my own little puzzle out.
It's your first game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it was just more like, and I don't know. I felt a bit lost in the mechanics of what I was trying to do and what my faction was leading me in to do. And basically I was playing a faction that allowed me to recruit, so basically get cards easier and then get resources for getting those cards in. And maybe I just didn't do enough of it. But even so, just because I got these cards, I needed to get the right cards to fuel a strategy. And I kind of didn't know what the hell to go after. So I was doing a bit of population, I was doing a bit of buildings, I was doing a bit of this. And again, that just comes with experience. But as a game, I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, okay.
I
know when you came away from it, it didn't seem that way.
I think it was because in my head, I wanted it to kind of blow me away. No. I wanted the game to like give me that feeling going like, oh God, I want this. Because I thought on the outset...
Because you were so excited
about it. I was really excited to play it, and I thought this is going to be right up my street.
That's kind of sometimes when you've got such a big expectation of something, you can...
and I think that's probably
fall further away from it.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. So when I kind of finished, I went, oh, yeah, okay. Maybe it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But God, no, I still enjoyed it. Would I play it again? Massively, yeah.
It sounds like I'd like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems right up my alley.
I think it's really good. But it's from what people have said online is there's people throwing out who've like played 20 games or something, and some people are saying, oh, this faction's imbalanced. But then some other people then saying this faction, and they're completely different. And I think it's because if you play in a certain way, so some characters can counter other characters, and then that will then feel weaker. And I think it's one of those that you need a couple of games under your belt.
Show me a game that has asymmetrical factions that no one mentions that one faction is imbalanced to the other. Yeah. You cannot get perfect symmetry or asymmetry with those games.
And I think it's one of those that once you've got your head around, because there's so many bits moving parts to it. Once you've got your head around it fully is only when you're then going to see that actually there's probably a lot more balance than you think. It's just because you've not been playing it right and you've not been contending certain people, or but it's whether you want to put that time and learn that.
Yeah.
Like probably like Terra Mystica. When we've had our first playthrough of that, we thought one faction was a lot stronger. Then you looked up online, and it was just like, oh no, they're meant to be like the weakest because people have played X amount of Terra Mystica, and it's just because of what happened. There's so many variables that
it's quite good.
It's quite similar to...
It's not
the area
similar,
but
it is in a way. I understand why you say that.
Yeah.
Now you said Terra Mystica.
That's what it reminded me of, weirdly.
It draws me into some of that, yeah.
It was on my bring and buy. I got rid of that.
Yeah, no, you did. All Gaia project is just Terra Mystica, just because the theme seemed more like Terra Mystica in my head for some reason.
But it's not in space, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But no, the player board itself, this is dual layered. I thought it was a lovely bit of kit.
It's cool,
and it kind of has these circles on it, and it looks like it's really hard to explain. Like you have to go onto our socials and look at the pictures because it's the easiest thing to do. But it kind of looks like this spiral of these blue discs that sit in there, and like whenever you build these buildings next to these development areas or terrains, you move tokens around this circuits. And then when you pass a node on this circuit, you unlock this machine that you can activate using these little power bolts or surges. And then as free actions, you can kind of charge these machines up and do additional actions. And I thought that was quite cool.
There's quite some cool combos in that. I really liked.
I'm going to increase my range, and then I'm going to go and do this action, do that. And the game, what made me laugh, like at the start of the game, it comes with these 2 wooden cubes, and I looked at the rulebook and said, what do these do? and they basically go, yeah, that's just to track what your first action is that you've done, and then the second action that you've done. It's like, yeah, we don't need those.
Yeah.
And then like near the end of the game, it's like the one action was just chaining like there's no tomorrow, doing like 6 things, comboing and going right. Am I done? Or...
yeah. Was that one action?
Was that one action or was that 2?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what those cubes are for.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that last turn, I was like there racking my brain just thinking, can I get this last person out? And then I was like, oh yeah, I could do this, and then that means I could do this, and then do this, and then get my last person out.
But I think
it was just, it was very,
I think to kind of conclude it though, but I thought in my head, I'm going to buy this before. I don't know, I just thought I'm going to buy this, and then afterwards I thought maybe I'm not, but what now kind of going, well, maybe I'll just wait. Maybe I'll just see what happens.
I think it's one I will wait and then see what people say about it after X amount of playthroughs, because I really enjoyed it, but I don't know if it will have the staying power, and that's one of the things I would want to see and see what other people say in it in a year's time, see what people say about it, and then if people are still loving it, then it's going to be an instant buy. It's
a double-edged sword, because I want to know what the extra modules that are unlocked bring into the game, but then I don't want to spoil it. If
it's not really a big campaign, then it's not much to spoil, really, is there?
And I think some of what you've talked about is kind of some of the problems I quite often have with these sort of bigger, like, I could probably go on for quite a while about why I didn't like it, because there was a lot of stuff you just talked about and I felt the complete opposite.
Yeah, no.
But a lot of these games, Root's on my list to play, and I'm very aware that I don't know if I'm going to enjoy that game, because you have to play it so many times to get so much out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many games that I'll never play more than 3 times. So if I have to take 6 games to learn it,
why bother?
That's twice as many games than I will have played nearly every other game that I've played, and therefore I think to myself, well, why bother putting the effort in the first place? Almost like, if I play it in the first couple and I was like, oh, this is going to get better over time, I would probably stick with it. But the fact that I was like, well.
But I do feel sometimes you need to give games that chance to come into their own as well, though, because we are a bit like, let's play loads of new games and we enjoy that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's quite nice to let a game mature and play it quite a few times.
I've said before,
then it comes into its own.
Some of the games I've looked at and gone, I think I'd want to give it a second or third chance, and then quite often I think to myself, but if I'm going to give it a second or third chance, how much is there really that I'm going to enjoy over this first couple of days?
But I understand if you just don't like it, then why would you want to play it again in some aspects?
Oh yeah, but it's like the Great Wall.
If you're really that put off of it,
the Great Wall could get a lot more better and meta over time, but I just don't feel like I'm going to get to that.
You don't feel it's worth the effort.
Yeah, that's it.
You've got to see potential, haven't you?
You've got to think this is going to be a big game for
or at least go, I'm not sure yet, I'm going to give it another play, and you could probably be able to tell by that second play.
And that's why with Northgard's the same as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I've come to the conclusion that I really liked it. I did shit at it. Wah. But yeah, I'll play it again. I think someone else bought it, like, yes.
I don't think you guys even did shit at it as such. It's
no,
just
we did.
No one contended me was the problem.
Yeah, I don't know if
between you guys it was tight, wasn't it? Or
we were fairly close.
Me and Tim were tight. Yeah. We had about 5 points between us.
I was flagging.
And then you were about, 15 points behind that, I think, somewhere around that?
Yeah, well, I think I ended up like 46, 47.
Yeah, and I ended up 60 something, I think it was. But yeah, so we ended up sort of fairly close together. I don't think I did badly at the game.
No.
I just didn't like the game. And therefore it was one of those things of, I thought to myself, well, but I went in with a low expectation.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was even lower that said to me then, okay, fine, this just isn't for you.
Yeah. That's fair. That's what happens, isn't it? There we
go.
Not
all games are for everyone, aren't they?
No, but that's the point, isn't it? It's
I'm glad I played it.
We'd be bored if we'd be rubbish if we were playing the same game.
Yeah.
And who knows? Who knows what the future may bring?
Yeah, well, it's a watcher. It's definitely it's on my watch list rather than buy list. Mm-hmm. But I probably will buy. I keep looking at Deal with the Devil. So
I'd be interested in both of those.
I'd play that.
I'd play Revive. It sounds interesting.
Yeah.
But I think the only other bits to mention is I picked up a couple of bits at the Bring and Buy, so they're on my to play soon list. So one was I managed to pick up a £30 copy of Spirit Island, played once.
Solid, yeah.
I was very happy with that, so that'll be making the table with my other group soon, hopefully. And then After the Empire, I managed to get that for a decent amount, so I think I'll try and get that to the table soon as well. But the Bring and Buy certainly had some bargains in it if you were willing to do the hunting and spending a bit of time in and out. Yeah. And I managed to sell a few myself. I worked out I was money neutral at the end.
That's good.
For everything I'd spent on food and raffle tickets and other games compared to what I sold. I came out that weekend money neutral, which was nice.
Does that include the raffle?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's all right.
Not the.
I was going to say because that would do.
So I came away money neutral with some games. Yeah.
And he walks away with a weather machine.
Yeah.
So that literally paid for his con. But no, I think like a tip from me on the whole bring and buy situation is try and get your items on the Google Sheets before the convention, because actually I had about 8-9 games to sell, and I sold most of them before it even started GRIDCON. Yeah. Which is brilliant because I spent the first day on Saturday just hunting people down. Right, are you George? You're George? Yeah, you're George. Right, cool. We're going to go get the games from my car boot and off we go. And I think I ended up taking 3 into the Bring and Buy, and I sold 1 of them. And I think, I don't know, when I walked into the Bring and Buy, I was quite overwhelmed by it.
There was a lot there. It's a bit like TKMaxx, wasn't it? You had to spend time going through everything almost.
It's a good analogy. That is a great analogy.
Like that.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, like...
See, I quite like that.
Yeah,
like
see,
the idea
rummaging.
of like rummaging and like.
Well, Becky came back with like 5 games.
Well, we don't discuss bring and buys around my wife.
Every time I mention I'm going off to the Bring and Buy, yeah, I'm coming too. Brilliant.
Just in case someone else dropped off something else.
And then she'd pick up a box, and I'd go, I think you'll like that. Okay, sold. No, that's not right.
Yeah, Adrian said you like that, and she basically your Kallax
Oh
shelves
yeah,
up.
Kerley's just made a load of room in the Kallax. Oh yeah.
You know, she actually got home on Saturday or Sunday. I forgot what day it was. And like, I think we might need new Kallax. I'm like, I don't think we need a new Kallax. I think you need a new Kallax.
No, it was good. So I think I took about 20 games and I sold about 10 because you're only allowed 10 at a time in there.
Yeah.
And I think I came away with my 10. So I went in with 20 and just had them in the boot of the car. And every time a couple sold, I took a couple more out of the car and put them in the Bring and Buy.
I had 2 games left, which was Mysterium, which I might just burn.
Yeah.
And
I don't do that. I'll have it.
really,
If you're going to throw it in a bin.
if you want it, you can have it. Honestly.
Or we might raffle it off.
Or we might raffle it off, listeners. If it's a great game.
Some people do really enjoy it.
It's good if you like that kind of stuff. I'm done with it. I'm like I played with the kids, and to the point now I'm like, so it's one of those. And the other one actually is Polis, and I was kind of like, I enjoy Polis. And then
I really enjoyed Polis.
And I thought, do I want to get rid of it? And then now I've got it back, and now I haven't sold it. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just hang on to it.
You know what? I saw it in there, and I was like, do I have that? Because I played it once with you.
Yeah,
and I did really enjoy it.
I really enjoyed it as well.
I think it's because I'm crap at it. So I think
it's because we both gave him a shoeing.
Yeah.
Okay, it was one of my final moments.
So I think I thought, no, I'll just keep it. I'll keep it for a bit.
I don't know. Like I do feel like with Polis, it's a really good game, but I don't know. Like it scratches the same itch that War of the Ring does, but I'd probably rather play War of the Ring. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I see. I preferred it much more to Lord of the Ring. War of the Ring. Sorry, Lord of the Ring.
You're the Lord of the Ring.
Yeah, War of the Ring. War of the Ring. I hated. But
we need to get another one.
I need to get another one of that.
Yeah, but there we go. That's Bring and Buy tips.
Yeah.
JP's Bring and Buy tips on GRIDCON.
Yeah.
Any other mentions or anything like that before we sign off?
I really enjoyed gaming with Marcus and Joel. Two people that I'd be interested in gaming in the future. So apart from that.
I just wanted to say a big thank you to Board Game Jimmy, James McCann, who came and saw us on the Sunday.
Yeah.
He made his way to say
strong
hello.
Name.
Strong name, James. Yeah. And it was really nice to put a face to the name.
Yeah.
And had a good 10-15 minute chat with him. Which is brilliant.
It's a good laugh. Yeah.
Yeah, just a great to meet people you speak online with. You know,
we're going to force him to come on the show at some point.
Yeah. He was kind of like, I don't know. I said, no, it's fine. Just we get to talk about games. It's fine.
Did the hard sell.
Yeah. We gave him no choice. So no, that was great to meet him. And like I say, I think everyone has been there that we met. It's just brilliant.
Yeah,
like,
everyone
really
was
nice,
lovely.
chilled.
It was a really great atmosphere. It was, yeah, I think part of me preferred it. It was more personal than UK.
That's
GE,
the word.
Which was
That's the
really
word.
nice.
Yeah, personal.
Yeah, it was. And everyone's a lot of friendly faces, and yeah, it kind of felt like you'd known some people for ages, even though you'd only just met them. Which was
you'd
really
only played an hour board game with them, and suddenly you felt like, oh,
yeah,
know a bit more about you.
Yeah, it's feels like a community, and I think a lot of that is kind of revolved around obviously the gaming rules, Patreon supporters as well, and they make up quite a lot of that community. I can't remember the percentage, but it's quite a high percentage, isn't it?
You could tell it was,
So there's a lot of people that kind of know each other anyway, and you kind of just feel part of that family a little bit, and
very inclusive.
Yeah, definitely.
And really widespread of board games, considering that when you look at the Patreon supporters, quite often there's kind of that Euro gamey feel, like for a lot of love.
Spread, isn't
but
it? Yeah.
You could tell that they just loved games across the board. Like there was all sorts of different board games being played, and everyone was really enthusiastic about all the ones.
I think the selection to play there was actually better than UKGE as well. Like the games that we could actually get to the table, I was more interested in a lot more there than what we could play at.
But you've got to remember, people are trying to sell the new hotness, aren't they? And we're willing to play whatever people will put in front of us quite often, or whatever tickled our fancy. Like I say, I've played the Gallerist, that's several years old. Played Castle Burgundy, that's several years old. It's not the latest hotness that they're trying to sell you on the Games Expo.
But I mean, there was still the latest hotness there, though. This is the thing.
a library as well, wasn't there, at the Game Expo? Is that what you meant?
I just meant a load of the games just at the Games Expo. This year was a bit. Because we said that before, it was a bit lackluster and kind of. Whereas I guess it was just before Essen as well, wasn't it? Whereas we've got to play a lot of the Essen games.
Well, that's why GRIDCON's time when it is, because it is basically Paul Grogan's Essen releases game party weekend that he used to do when he came back from Essen, so he could get all the Essen releases out. And it's and you hear about him talk about it on the episode we did with him, and he literally used to cram 40 people around his house. Playing board games on the floor, on tables. There's just people everywhere falling over each other, and then they'll all crash, like sleeping bags on sofas, floors, and everything. It was just, I think it sounded like carnage. And Vicky, who's Paul's partner and fiance, it's like, I think we kind of joked on the episode saying, right, you got a good one there, mate. She puts up with you and all your mates coming round, and they've kind of converted it into GRIDCON. About 3 years ago, I think they first did it.
Well, this is the GRIDCON 3.
This is the third one, yeah. So
I guess they missed
before pandemic was the first one, yeah. Like I say, I attended GRIDCON 2, so I've got that comparison, and that was done at the Best Western in Tiverton, and I think the venue. I mean, I am biased, right? Because I think the venue's better, and it's literally 10 minutes away from my house. So it is what it is, but it's just, I felt the way that the convention was laid out was a lot better, because you had the bar area, but because people were gaming in there, it felt connected. So it's kind of like you walked out in the main room into the bar, you felt like still part of the convention, and you're getting drinks and food, and then the restaurant's literally hanging off the side. The other room's literally the other end of the bar.
And they delivered food to your table, which was nice.
Oh, I mean, that is such a lovely thing, because you think, I'm going to go out and get something to eat. You don't want to spend 2 hours away from the convention.
What's the point?
And you can literally order the food literally as you're setting the game up. And
I just didn't expect that. I was like, I'm going to have to go eat in the bar. And it was just like, oh no, we did it to the table. It was like
direct comparison to the expo again, isn't it? Really? If you had something to eat there, it was like rubbish food, really, and that's about 12 quid for a sandwich.
And you had to go get it.
So I couldn't fault it.
No, great for you.
I think had the feedback form's been released literally today online, and
there was enough parking as well, which I was surprised. Just all around great. Please do it again there next year. Well organised.
Let's say a massive thank you to Paul and Vicky and all those that helped run it.
Massive,
They often had people that I didn't know or hadn't seen before running the desk, but they obviously had lots of help to produce such a great event. So a big thank you for everyone involved in running GRIDCON this year. It went really smoothly, I think we can all say that. And just a big thank you, and a big thank you to anyone we stopped and talked to, who stopped and talked to us, played games with. It was such a friendly, welcome environment. As I say, I jumped on just several people mid-game and went, how is it? I really want to know, because I might buy this game. Everyone was super friendly and didn't mind or anything like that. So massive thank you from all of us. And with that, our final turn is wrapping up and victory points are about to be scored. Thank you everyone for listening. If you've enjoyed the show, please like, subscribe and review on your podcast player of choice. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can do. You can email us at players@whoseturn.co.uk. You can check us out on our Facebook page, Whose Turn Is It Anyway Podcast, or on Instagram @Whose Turn Podcast, or on TikTok @Whose Turn Is It Anyway. We'll be back again shortly because this is an expansion episode, so
who knows?
Probably a week's time.
Yeah.
But until then, whose turn is it anyway?
Baby, I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh.